Have you ever wondered why some people seem unstoppable, building wealth, freedom, and success while most of us struggle just to get by? It's not luck and it's not talent. It's mindset. The 1% think differently. They act differently. Every habit, every decision, every small action compounds into massive results over time. They embrace discomfort, focus relentlessly, and protect their energy like gold. Ordinary people quit when it gets hard. The elite persist. And today, you're about to learn the mindset and habits that can transform your life, step by step, into something extraordinary. If you're ready to think like the 1%, act like the 1%, and become truly unstoppable, this is where it starts. You are not born to live a small life. You are not brought into this world to struggle forever, to wake up tired, to feel trapped by money, time, or fear. Somewhere deep inside you, there's a quiet voice that has always known this. It has whispered to you in the silent moments of the night. It has nudged you when you watched others rise. It has made you uncomfortable with average, with normal, with just getting by. That voice is not random. It is the beginning of a rich mindset. Most people think wealth is only about money. They think rich people are lucky or greedy or different in some mysterious way. They imagine secret deals, lucky breaks, or unfair advantages. But the truth is simpler and deeper than that. The real difference is not in circumstances, it is in thinking. It is in the way elite people see the world, see themselves, and see possibility. A rich mindset does not start in a bank account. It starts in a moment of clarity, a moment when you realize that your life is in your hands, even if nothing around you looks that way yet. It starts when you stop blaming and start taking responsibility. It starts when you choose growth instead of comfort, discipline instead of excuses, vision instead of fear. Imagine for a moment that your mind is a garden. Every thought you think is a seed. Every belief you carry is a root. For years, many people unknowingly plant seeds of doubt, fear, and limitation. They water them with excuses and surround them with people who think small. Then they wonder why their lives look empty and overgrown with problems. A rich person is simply someone who learned how to plant different seeds. They plant belief where others plant doubt. They plant action where others plant fear. They plant patience where others plant frustration. They plant vision where others plant complaints. And then, day by day, without drama, without noise, without needing approval, they water those seeds with habits. Habits are the silent architects of destiny. The poor mindset wakes up and reaches for the phone, scrolls through the lives of others, feels behind before the day has even started. The rich mindset wakes up and reaches for purpose, takes a deep breath, remembers the vision, moves the body, opens the mind, feeds the soul with words that build rather than break. This is not about perfection. It is about direction. There was a time in your life when you believed in something with all your heart. Maybe it was a dream, maybe it was a person, maybe it was the future. Do you remember that feeling? That fire that made everything else disappear. As children, we have that fire naturally. We believe we can fly. We believe we can become anything. But slowly the world teaches us to doubt. Teachers correct too harshly. Adults laugh at big dreams. Society rewards safety instead of courage. And so the fire becomes an ember. But here is the secret the elite understand. That fire never dies. It only waits. A rich mindset is the act of leaning down and breathing life back into that small glowing ember inside you. It is choosing again and again to believe in the invisible. Elite people do not wait for motivation. They build structure. They build discipline. They design their environment so that success becomes easier than failure. Look at how they spend their time. Time is the real currency. Money is only a reflection of it. The average person spends time to escape life. The rich person spends time to build life. They ask different questions. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? They ask, what is this teaching me? Instead of asking, when will I get a chance? They ask, how can I create one? Instead of saying, I cannot afford that, they ask, how can I become someone who can? These questions shape the brain, and the brain shapes reality. Your mind believes the stories you tell it. If you say, I am bad with money, your brain will prove you right. If you say, I always fail, your brain will find ways to support that. If you say, I'm learning, I am growing, I am becoming better every day, your brain will align with that too. We often underestimate the power of simple words spoken daily. Elite people speak carefully, even when alone. They do not insult themselves in the mirror. They do not build identities around weakness. They do not attach their future to their past. They understand something extremely important. Your previous chapter is not your whole story. You could decide again. Right now, you may not feel ready, but readiness is not a requirement for change. Decision is. Somewhere, someone started with less than you, knew less than you, feared more than you, yet still moved forward. Not because they were special, but because they refused to stop. And that refusal is an elite habit. Comfort is a sweet prison. It looks safe, but it slowly dissolves ambition. The bed is warm. The excuses are logical. The delay feels harmless. But years pass in this soft sleep. Rich mindset people are respectful of comfort, but they do not live in it. They wake up early, not because they love pain, but because they love their future more than their present comfort. They read when others watch. They learn when others laugh. They listen when others speak. They move when others hesitate. And slowly, quietly, their world expands. There is a story of a man who used to wake up every morning in a tiny dark room. No window, no luxury, just a mattress and a silent clock ticking on the wall. Every day, he chose to read for 1 hour before work. Not because he was forced to, because he decided that the version of himself 5 years from now deserved the effort of today. His friends laughed. They said he was boring, too serious, too quiet, but he did not argue. Years later, those same friends wondered what happened. How did he change his life so much? The answer was simple. He did what was invisible when results were invisible. Rich habits are often boring. Repetition, routine, delayed pleasure, long vision. Poor habits are exciting. Short pleasure, instant confort. Emotional decisions. If you want elite results, you must tolerate elite boredom. You must fall in love with the slow build. You must respect the daily repetition. A rich mindset is rooted in patience. Seeds do not grow because you shout at them. They grow because you water them in silence every day. You are that seed, and your mind is the soil. Protect it. Be careful what you listen to. Be careful who you allow close. Be careful what stories enter your inner world. Everything that enters your mind either builds you or breaks you. Elite people guard their mental environment like a sacred space. They choose silence over noise. They choose books over gossip. They choose growth over entertainment. This does not mean they never enjoy life. It means enjoyment is intentional and not an escape. Your future bank account is connected to your daily habits in a way most people cannot see. Every time you choose discipline, you are depositing into your future. Every time you choose laziness, you are withdrawing from it. Small actions repeat into massive outcomes. You do not rise to your goals. You fall to your systems. That is why the rich focus on habits, not wishes. They build rituals around success. Morning routines that anchor them. Night routines that prepare them. Conversations that stretch them. Expectations that challenge them. They do not wait for perfect conditions. They move with what they have. The perfect time never arrives. The perfect confidence never arrives. The perfect plan is an illusion. What arrives is a moment. And elite people act in that moment. One of the most powerful mental shifts is this. Stop trying to be rich. Start trying to become valuable. Money is attracted to value. Skills create income. Service creates wealth. Impact creates legacy. Ask yourself daily, how can I improve? How can I serve better? How can I solve problems? How can I give more? A rich mindset is a giver mindset, not in weakness, in power. They know that when they give knowledge, energy, and value, the world responds. They are not desperate. They are confident. They know that abundance is not limited. They believe there is enough opportunity, enough money, enough success for everyone. A poor mindset believes if someone wins, they lose. A rich mindset believes if someone wins, so can they. They study success rather than criticize it. They say if it is possible for them, it is possible for me. This belief alone changes everything. You move differently when you believe differently. You talk differently. You sit differently. You try differently. Confidence is not loud or arrogant. It is silent certainty. And that certainty is built through self-promises kept. Every time you say, I will do this, and you actually do it, you build self-trust. Self-trust builds confidence. Confidence builds bold action. Bold action creates extraordinary results. So start small, but be consistent. Drink the water. Read the page. Take the walk. Make the call. Learn the skill. Work the hour. Do it even when you do not feel like it. Especially when you do not feel like it. Because that is where identity is shaped. The elite mindset is not a mood. It is an identity. You are not becoming rich. You are becoming the kind of person who creates richness. And that process is happening now. Every word you are hearing is a seed being placed inside your mind. Let it take root. Let it change the way you see the world. Because from this moment forward, you are no longer just surviving. You are building. You are becoming. You are remembering who you truly are. And this is only the beginning. You were not born to live a small life. You were not brought into this world to struggle forever, to wake up tired, to feel trapped by money, time, or fear. Somewhere deep inside you, there's a quiet voice that has always known this. It has whispered to you in the silent moments of the night. It has nudged you when you watched others rise. It has made you uncomfortable with average, with normal, with just getting by. That voice is not random. It is the beginning of a rich mindset. Most people think wealth is only about money. They think rich people are lucky or greedy or different in some mysterious way. They imagine secret deals, lucky breaks, or unfair advantages. But the truth is simpler and deeper than that. The real difference is not in circumstances, it is in thinking. It is in the way elite people see the world, see themselves, and see possibility. A rich mindset does not start in a bank account. It starts in a moment of clarity, a moment when you realize that your life is in your hands, even if nothing around you looks that way yet. It starts when you stop blaming and start taking responsibility. It starts when you choose growth instead of comfort, discipline instead of excuses, vision instead of fear. Imagine for a moment that your mind is a garden. Every thought you think is a seed. Every belief you carry is a root. For years, many people unknowingly plant seeds of doubt, fear, and limitation. They water them with excuses and surround them with people who think small. Then they wonder why their lives look empty and overgrown with problems. A rich person is simply someone who learned how to plant different seeds. They plant belief where others plant doubt. They plant action where others plant fear. They plant patience where others plant frustration. They plant vision where others plant complaints. And then, day by day, without drama, without noise, without needing approval, they water those seeds with habits. Habits are the silent architects of destiny. The poor mindset wakes up and reaches for the phone, scrolls through the lives of others, feels behind before the day has even started. The rich mindset wakes up and reaches for purpose, takes a deep breath, remembers the vision, moves the body, opens the mind, feeds the soul with words that build rather than break. This is not about perfection. It is about direction. There was a time in your life when you believed in something with all your heart. Maybe it was a dream, maybe it was a person, maybe it was the future. Do you remember that feeling? That fire that made everything else disappear? As children, we have that fire naturally. We believe we can fly. We believe we can become anything. But slowly the world teaches us to doubt. Teachers correct too harshly. Adults laugh at big dreams. Society rewards safety instead of courage. And so the fire becomes an ember. But here is the secret the elite understand. That fire never dies. It only waits. A rich mindset is the act of leaning down and breathing life back into that small glowing ember inside you. It is choosing again and again to believe in the invisible. Elite people do not wait for motivation. They build structure. They build discipline. They design their environment so that success becomes easier than failure. Look at how they spend their time. Time is the real currency. Money is only a reflection of it. The average person spends time to escape life. The rich person spends time to build life. They ask different questions. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? They ask, what is this teaching me? Instead of asking, when will I get a chance? They ask, how can I create one? Instead of saying, I cannot afford that, they ask, how can I become someone who can? These questions shape the brain, and the brain shapes reality. Your mind believes the stories you tell it. If you say, I am bad with money, your brain will prove you right. If you say, I always fail, your brain will find ways to support that. If you say, I'm learning, I am growing, I am becoming better every day, your brain will align with that too. They do not build identities around weakness. They do not attach their future to their past. They understand something extremely important. Your previous chapter is not your whole story. You could decide again. Right now, you may not feel ready, but readiness is not a requirement for change. Decision is. Somewhere, someone started with less than you, knew less than you, feared more than you, yet still moved forward. Not because they were special, but because they refused to stop. And that refusal is an elite habit. Comfort is a sweet prison. It looks safe, but it slowly dissolves ambition. The bed is warm. The excuses are logical. The delay feels harmless. But years pass in this soft sleep. Rich mindset people are respectful of comfort, but they do not live in it. They wake up early, not because they love pain, but because they love their future more than their present comfort. They read when others watch. They learn when others laugh. They listen when others speak. They move when others hesitate. And slowly, quietly, their world expands. There is a story of a man who used to wake up every morning in a tiny dark room. No window, no luxury, just a mattress and a silent clock ticking on the wall. Every day, he chose to read for 1 hour before work. Not because he was forced to, because he decided that the version of himself 5 years from now deserved the effort of today. His friends laughed. They said he was boring, too serious, too quiet. But he did not argue. Years later, those same friends wondered what happened. How did he change his life so much? The answer was simple. He did what was invisible when results were invisible. Rich habits are often boring. Repetition, routine, delayed pleasure, long vision. Poor habits are exciting. Short pleasure, instant confort, emotional decisions. If you want elite results, you must tolerate elite boredom. You must fall in love with the slow build. You must respect the daily repetition. A rich mindset is rooted in patience. Seeds do not grow because you shout at them. They grow because you water them in silence every day. You are that seed, and your mind is the soil. Protect it. Be careful what you listen to. Be careful who you allow close. Be careful what stories enter your inner world. Everything that enters your mind either builds you or breaks you. Elite people guard their mental environment like a sacred space. They choose silence over noise. They choose books over gossip. They choose growth over entertainment. This does not mean they never enjoy life. It means enjoyment is intentional and not an escape. Your future bank account is connected to your daily habits in a way most people cannot see. Every time you choose discipline, you are depositing into your future. Every time you choose laziness, you are withdrawing from it. Small actions repeat into massive outcomes. You do not rise to your goals. You fall to your systems. That is why the rich focus on habits, not wishes. They build rituals around success. Morning routines that anchor them. Night routines that prepare them. Conversations that stretch them. Expectations that challenge them. They do not wait for perfect conditions. They move with what they have. The perfect time never arrives. The perfect confidence never arrives. The perfect plan is an illusion. What arrives is a moment. And elite people act in that moment. One of the most powerful mental shifts is this. Stop trying to be rich. Start trying to become valuable. Money is attracted to value. Skills create income. Service creates wealth. Impact creates legacy. Ask yourself daily, how can I improve? How can I serve better? How can I solve problems? How can I give more? A rich mindset is a giver mindset, not in weakness, in power. They know that when they give knowledge, energy, and value, the world responds. They are not desperate. They are confident. They know that abundance is not limited. They believe there is enough opportunity, enough money, enough success for everyone. A poor mindset believes if someone wins, they lose. A rich mindset believes if someone wins, so can they. They study success rather than criticize it. They say if it is possible for them, it is possible for me. This belief alone changes everything. You move differently when you believe differently. You talk differently. You sit differently. You try differently. Confidence is not loud or arrogant. It is silent certainty. And that certainty is built through self-promises kept. Every time you say, I will do this, and you actually do it, you build self-trust. Self-trust builds confidence. Confidence builds bold action. Bold action creates extraordinary results. So start small, but be consistent. Drink the water. Read the page. Take the walk. Make the call. Learn the skill. Work the hour. Do it even when you do not feel like it. Especially when you do not feel like it. Because that is where identity is shaped. The elite mindset is not a mood. It is an identity. You're not becoming rich. You are becoming the kind of person who creates richness. And that process is happening now. Every word you are hearing is a seed being placed inside your mind. Let it take root. Let it change the way you see the world. Because from this moment forward, you are no longer just surviving. You are building. You are becoming. You are remembering who you truly are. And this is only the beginning. The more you listen to this, the more something subtle begins to shift inside you. It is not loud or dramatic. It is quiet, like the moment just before sunrise when darkness is still present, but the sky has already begun to change its mind about the night. That is how a rich mindset grows. It starts before the results, before the evidence, before anything on the outside has changed. The outside always arrives last. The inside always goes first. Most people never learn this. They wait for proof. They wait for permission. They wait for a sign that tells them it is safe to move, safe to believe, safe to try again. But elite people understand that proof follows action, not the other way around. The sign appears after the step is taken, not before. The door opens once you reach for the handle, not when you stand at a distance and stare at it. Think about how many times in your life you almost did something, almost started, almost changed, almost believed, Almost try it again. The distance between almost and actually is where entire lives are decided. And that distance is crossed only by one thing: courage. Not loud hero courage, just the simple kind. The quiet decision to act even while fear is still present in the body. The understanding that fear does not mean stop. Fear usually means this matters. A rich mindset reframes fear. Instead of seeing it as a warning to retreat, it sees it as an invitation to grow. You begin to ask yourself new questions. What would the elite version of me do today? How would the future me handle this moment? What choice moves me closer to the person I want to become? And the most interesting thing starts to happen. Once you ask better questions, your mind finds better answers. Opportunities that were always there start to become visible. Ideas begin to connect. Patterns start to make sense. You realize that the world did not suddenly change. You changed the way you were looking at it. Most people do not lack opportunity. They lack perception. They walk past open doors because their mind is locked. The elite mind is open, curious, alert, hungry to learn. They walk differently. They listen differently. They notice what others ignore. While average minds look for escape, rich minds look for leverage. They look at problems and see potential. They look at chaos and see systems. They look at time and see investment. They train themselves to think long-term in a world addicted to now. This is why many people misunderstand them. The discipline looks boring. The focus looks extreme. The boundaries look unnecessary. The goals look unrealistic. But 5 years later, the results make perfect sense. Elite habits are like water on stone, soft in each moment, unstoppable over time. It is not what you do once that defines you. It is what you repeat. That is why a rich mindset removes emotion from decision-making. You do not go to the gym when you feel like it. You go because that is who you are now. You do not read when inspired. You read because that is what elite minds do. You do not save and invest only when money feels plenty. You do it especially when it feels tight. This is how identity is built. You are not waiting to become disciplined. You act disciplined, and as a result, you become disciplined. You are not waiting to be confident. You move as if you are confident, and soon, confidence becomes natural. Your brain believes your actions more than your feelings. And through consistent elite behavior, even if it feels unnatural at first, your brain starts to accept this new identity as truth. This is the moment where change becomes permanent. Most people quit before this moment. They start, they try, they fail, they get tired, they say it is not working. They return to the familiar world of comfort and excuses. But the elite knows that the hardest part is just before the breakthrough. They expect resistance. They expect doubt. They expect slow progress. So when it comes, they do not panic. They simply continue. Persistence is their hidden superpower. They keep moving even when no one is clapping, even when nothing seems to change, even when old fears whisper back into their mind. They keep their promises to themselves, and slowly their mind begins to trust them. Self-trust is one of the rarest and most powerful assets in the world. When you trust yourself, you no longer fear failure. You no longer doubt your ability to recover. You no longer hesitate as much. You become calmer, stronger, grounded. You begin to carry a quiet presence that others can feel. And that presence attracts opportunities. People feel energy. They feel discipline. They feel certainty. Elite people do not chase. They attract. They attract better people because they have raised their own standards. They attract better opportunities because they are prepared when they arrive. They attract more money because they have learned to respect it. A rich mindset respects money, not worships it, not hates it, respects it. It understands that money is energy. It flows towards clarity, value, and discipline. It runs away from chaos, excuses, and emotional decisions. Poor thinking says money is evil. Money is hard. Money is not for people like me. Rich thinking says money is a tool. Money is teachable. Money flows towards service and smart systems. When you respect money, you learn how it moves, how it grows, how it multiplies, how it disappears. You stop wasting it to impress people who do not matter, to support a lifestyle that is not real. You start using it as a seed. Every dollar is a worker. You send it out to bring more back. This is how the elite sees money, not as something to consume, but as something to command. And you can learn this. Anyone can. It is not about your starting point. It is about your direction. Right now, at this very moment, there are two versions of you, the one you have been and the one you are becoming. They cannot both be in control. One must fade for the other to rise. And the one that wins is the one you give your daily actions to. Your habits are votes for your future self. Every small elite habit is a vote for the powerful version of you. And even if you feel like one small person in a wide world, remember this. Every successful person started as a single decision in a single mind. No one believed in them first. They believed in themselves. And when self-belief meets consistent action, the world has no choice but to respond. There will be days when you feel tired, when doubt creeps back in, when old voices from the past whisper that you're not enough or it is too late or nothing ever changes. Those are the moments that decide everything. In those moments, the rich mindset whispers something back. Keep going, not because it is easy, but because you did not come this far to stop here. You are not just building a better life. You are breaking a pattern, changing a future, becoming an example for others who do not yet know how. Your growth is bigger than you can see, and every elite habit you choose is echoing forward into a life of freedom, confidence, and power. You do not need permission to become more. You only need the discipline to continue, and you will, because the version of you that is emerging understands something that the old version never fully accepted. You are capable of more than you have ever been shown, and this journey has only just begun. Somewhere, deep beneath the surface of your normal routines, a quiet revolution is taking place. You may not be able to explain it yet. You may not even fully believe it, but it is there. A subtle tension between the life you have known and the life that is now calling you forward. That tension is not a problem. It is a signal. It means you are stretching beyond who you used to be. Growth always feels like this. Unfamiliar, slightly uncomfortable, a little lonely, and incredibly powerful at the same time. Most people avoid this feeling. They rush back to what is easy, what is familiar, what is safe. But elite minds learn to sit in this space, to breathe inside the uncertainty, to trust the process even when they cannot see the final picture yet. Rich mindset is a deep trust in the unseen. It is understanding that the work you do in silence today is shaping a reality that will one day speak for you. Every time you choose to wake up and try again, even when nothing seems to be working, you're stepping into that reality a little more. Every time you choose to read instead of scroll, to move instead of delay, to focus instead of escape, you are strengthening the part of yourself that knows it is meant for more. Elite habits are not created by motivation. They are created by identity and environment. Elite thinkers design their environment on purpose. They know that willpower is limited, but environment is powerful. If your room is filled with distraction, your mind will be distracted. If your circle is filled with doubt, your thoughts will be full of doubt. If your days are filled with chaos, your progress will be chaotic sight turns or a news 1-2. So they simplify. They remove what weakens them and surround themselves with what strengthens them. They make success easier and failure harder. This is why rich mindset is deeply intentional. It is intentional with time, with energy, with relationships, with words. Every choice is a message to the subconscious. Either you are telling it that your dreams matter or that they do not. The subconscious listens. It arranges your actions based on what you repeatedly tell it. That is why daily affirmations are not just empty words when they are spoken with feeling and repetition. They are instructions. You're always giving your mind instructions. The question is, are they creating the life you want or the life you're trying to escape? The elite version of you does not say, "I will try." It says, "I will find a way. I will adjust. I will learn. I will become." It understands that nothing powerful comes without process. A caterpillar does not become a butterfly by wishing. It breaks down. It dissolves. It rebuilds itself in darkness before it ever touches the sky. In many ways, you are in your own cocoon right now. Old beliefs falling apart. Old habits being questioned. Old comfort zones becoming too small to hold the future that is trying to form inside you. This is not a breakdown. This is a rebuild. But rebuilds require patience and isolation. Elite people often walk alone for a while, not because they are better, but because their path is different. Their vision is different. Their discipline is misunderstood. And that is okay. Loneliness on the path of growth is temporary. Regret from staying small lasts forever. You will one day meet the people who are climbing at your level, who understand your discipline, who speak your language, who share your values. But first, you must become someone capable of meeting them. Your standards must rise before your circle can. That is another elite habit. Raising the standard. You no longer accept the bare minimum. Not from yourself, not from others, not from life. You start to notice what is draining you. Conversations that go nowhere. Habits that keep you small. Promises you keep breaking to yourself. And instead of judging yourself harshly, you simply begin to replace them. One better habit at a time. One better choice at a time. One better thought at a time. This is not a sprint. It is a quiet transformation. A rich mindset is gentle with itself, but firm with discipline. It does not scream or punish. It simply redirects. Again and again. When you fall, you do not give up. You get up calmer, smarter, more aware, because failure is no longer proof that you cannot. It is information on how to improve. Rich thinkers use failure as feedback. They study it. They adjust. They grow stronger. That is why they eventually outpace the rest. Not because they never fail, but because they never stop after failing. In your life, there have been moments where you thought it was over. Times when you felt like you reached a limit, a wall you cannot pass, but you are still here. That means those moments did not define you. They refined you. And all of that experience, all of that pain, all of that struggle is not wasted. It is becoming wisdom now, strength now, awareness now. It is becoming part of your elite identity. One day soon, someone will look at you and wonder how you became so disciplined, so focused, so mentally strong. They will ask for your secret, and you will know that there never was a secret. There was only a decision repeated every single day. To not quit, to not go back, to not give in, to grow when it was easier not to. And this is a decision you are still making right now. With every word you listen to, with every thought that starts to change, with every belief that is beginning to shift, you are choosing the rich mindset. You are choosing elite habits. You are choosing the hard path that leads to an extraordinary life. And most importantly, you are choosing yourself. As you continue forward on this path, it becomes clearer that wealth is not something you chase. It is something that follows. It follows the way you think, the way you speak, the way you act, and the way you treat yourself when no one else is watching. The truth is that you're becoming disciplined long before you ever see the reward. You're becoming focused long before others ever call you successful. And you are becoming powerful long before the world ever gives you credit. This is the invisible part of mastery. It happens quietly, in the early mornings, in the late nights, in the moments when you choose effort instead of escape. Most people look for a dramatic transformation, a sudden miracle, a big moment that changes everything. But elite people know that the most powerful change is almost boring to witness. It is simply a person waking up over and over again and choosing the harder, better path. There is no applause in self-discipline, no audience when you say no to distraction, no reward in the moment when you shut down the voice of doubt and continue anyway. And yet these are the choices that define everything. This is where real success is built. The mind begins to understand a new language, a language of consistency, of growth, of patience, of effort without immediate reward. This language slowly replaces the old one of complaining and waiting and hoping. And soon your mind begins to crave progress the way it once craved comfort. This is when you start to notice that you are no longer the same person. You speak less and observe more. You complain less and improve more. You react less and think more. You feel less lost and more intentional. Intentional living is a powerful elite habit. You no longer drift through days on autopilot. You begin to move with awareness, with purpose. You start to recognize when a moment matters, when a choice is important. You no longer say things like someday or one day or when the time is right. You say today, this hour, this moment, because elite people do not rely on perfect timing. They become perfect in their timing by acting now. This does not mean rushing. It means respecting time as the precious resource it is. Every minute given to distraction is a minute taken from your future. But every minute given to growth is a gift to the person you are becoming. And that person is approaching faster than you realize. Your future self is built by what you do today when no one is watching. This is why rich mindset training is mostly done in private. No one sees the pages you read, the thoughts you rewrite, the habits you replace, the boundaries you set, the temptations you resist. But the results of all that private discipline will one day be very public. That is the paradox. Success is a public reward for a private lifestyle. Elite minds understand delayed gratification. They are not tempted by small pleasures when they can see big outcomes. They do not trade their future for a temporary feeling. They stay loyal to a vision even when that vision feels far away. They understand that all big things start small. A business starts as an idea. A body starts as a decision. A new life starts as a thought. Everything begins within. This is why the rich mindset protects the mind above all else. What you allow inside your mind today becomes your reality tomorrow. If you fill it with stories of defeat, it will create defeat. If you fill it with stories of strength, it will create strength. If you fill it with images of who you want to become, it will slowly build that version of you. Visualization is not fantasy. It is a program for your brain. Elite thinkers see themselves winning long before the world does. They feel the reality of their goals as if they already exist. They walk into rooms as the person they are becoming, not the person others remember them as. And the world starts to respond to this new energy. Because energy does not lie. Even if your circumstances have not changed yet, your presence does. And presence creates opportunity. That is why, at some point, doors will open that you did not even knock on. People will say yes before you even ask. Things will start to flow instead of fight. Not because the world changed, but because you did. A rich mindset is powerful, calm, grounded, clear. It does not beg for respect. It attracts it. It does not search for validation. It is validated by its own discipline. And the more you step into this mindset, the more natural it feels. The person you're becoming no longer feels distant. It starts to feel familiar, like coming home to the self you were always meant to be. You begin to forgive yourself for the past. You stop carrying shame. You stop replaying old mistakes. You stop identifying with old failures. You understand that your past was a classroom, not a prison. And now you have graduated. Now you're writing a new story. And that story is being written in actions, not words. It is being written in effort, not intention. It is being written in discipline, not emotion. With every passing day, you're building proof that change is possible. You are building momentum. Momentum does not need motivation. It only needs consistency. Even when progress feels slow, momentum is still building. Even when results are not visible, momentum is still there. You are moving forward, and forward is all that matters. One day soon, you will look back and realize there was a moment when everything shifted, when you finally stopped being who you used to be and stepped fully into who you always knew you could become. You may not even remember the exact day, because that is how quietly greatness is born. In small, repeated discipline moments, in private, in silence, in commitment. You are doing something extraordinary. Do not underestimate this phase. Do not rush it. Do not doubt it. Honor it. Because in this very moment, even now, as these words flow into your awareness, the rich mindset is taking root. And roots, once they take hold, cannot be easily removed. The roots you are planting now are invisible to most people, but they will support a life most can only dream of. Every time you choose focus over distraction, patience over impulse, growth over comfort, you are strengthening these roots. You are quietly creating a foundation that will hold up under any storm, that will allow your dreams to rise tall and unshakable. What looks small today is building the extraordinary tomorrow. The elite understand this intuitively. They trust the process, even when it feels slow, even when results are hidden. They know that long-term growth is silent and invisible at first, but unstoppable once it takes hold. This is why mindset matters more than strategy. A person can have the perfect plan and still fail if their mind is weak. But a strong mind will always find a way. It sees obstacles not as walls, but as puzzles, challenges not as punishments, but as opportunities. A strong mind is relentless, not because it is never tired, but because it is committed. It keeps moving even when the heart whispers stop. It keeps learning even when the body wants rest. It keeps believing even when the world doubts. This is what elite people do. They cultivate mental resilience above all else. Resilience is not born. It is trained. It is practiced every day through small acts of courage. It is saying yes to effort when no one else is watching. It is maintaining integrity when shortcuts are tempting. It is keeping promises to yourself when you feel unworthy of success. Every decision like this is a brick in the foundation of your future. Small acts repeated over time compound into a life of extraordinary results. Money is not the destination, but a reflection of this mindset. It flows toward those who understand value, who serve, who create solutions, who act consistently, who grow intelligently. Rich people see money as energy, as a tool to amplify their vision, not as a goal in itself. They invest in themselves, in knowledge, in skills, in systems, in people. They know that the ability to generate wealth comes first from inside, from thinking strategically, from being disciplined, from having clarity of purpose. And clarity of purpose comes from reflection. It comes from understanding who you are, what you want, and why it matters. Elite people spend time alone with their thoughts. They journal, they plan, they visualize, they meditate. They ask themselves what is important and cut away everything else. They do not waste energy on what does not move them closer to their vision. Their lives are intentional, precise, focused, and that precision allows them to achieve with less struggle, less drama, less wasted effort. Your environment is equally important. Your habits, your friends, your media, your daily routines, they all shape your mind, whether you realize it or not. If you surround yourself with negativity, laziness, or distraction, your mind will adopt those traits. If you immerse yourself in knowledge, discipline, purpose, and positive influence, your mind will grow stronger. Elite people curate their environments. They remove what weakens them and amplify what strengthens them. They design their lives so that the easiest choice is always the one that moves them forward. Discipline is the bridge between goals and results. Without it, vision is just a dream. With it, small, consistent steps become unstoppable momentum. Elite people embrace structure. They understand that freedom is not chaos but order. They schedule their days, set boundaries, track progress, and hold themselves accountable. These habits are invisible to outsiders, but they create visible outcomes over time. You may not see immediate rewards, but the consistent application of effort compounds into extraordinary success. Elite habits often appear boring to the untrained eye. They are repetitions, routines, incremental improvements, delayed gratification. But in these small, repeated actions lies the power to transform your life. A single hour of focused work repeated daily becomes mastery. A single habit of saving and investing repeated daily becomes financial freedom. A single moment of choosing courage over fear repeated daily becomes unstoppable confidence. This is how ordinary people become extraordinary. One decision, one habit, one day at a time. Your mind will challenge you along the way. Old doubts will surface. Fear will appear. Comfort will call you back. But each time you resist, you are rewiring your brain, reshaping your identity, reinforcing your elite self. Over time, resistance becomes easier to manage. The voice of doubt weakens. Your habits take over. Discipline becomes instinctive. Confidence grows. Momentum builds. And one day, you will look back and realize the life you are living is the one you once only imagined. The elite mindset also understands the value of relationships. They seek mentors, not critics. They surround themselves with people who elevate, challenge, and inspire them. They do not tolerate energy vampires or toxic influences. They network strategically, collaborate wisely, and give generously. They understand that success is not a solo journey. It is amplified by the right connections. But they are selective, never compromising their values for short-term gain. Every choice you make now is a vote for your future self. Every hour invested in growth is a deposit in the bank of your destiny. Every habit cultivated, every thought reshaped, every challenge embraced is adding to the wealth of your life. Not just financially, but mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. True wealth is holistic. It includes health, relationships, mindset, clarity, resilience, and purpose. Money is only a reflection of that internal richness. You may feel impatient. You may want rapid results, visible signs, instant validation. But elite people understand that true success is slow, deliberate, and compounding. It is invisible at first, yet undeniable over time. They embrace patience. They embrace the process. They trust in their ability to grow, adapt, and execute consistently. And they understand that every setback is temporary, every challenge is a lesson, and every effort contributes to the inevitable outcome. This is the essence of the 1% mindset. It is not about luck or circumstance. It is about thinking differently, acting deliberately, and living intentionally. It is about understanding that your mind is the most powerful asset you own and that your actions are the currency of your future. It is about committing to yourself when no one else will. It is about creating the life that matches the potential you have always known exists inside you. If you continue to choose elite habits, rich thinking, and unwavering commitment, your life will not just improve. It will transform. You will become the person who naturally attracts opportunities, wealth, and influence. You will become someone others look to for inspiration, not because you're extraordinary by chance, but because you cultivated excellence through consistent, deliberate action. And in that transformation, you will finally understand what it truly means to have a rich mindset. As you continue, you begin to notice the subtle ways your life is changing. It is not dramatic yet. You do not see it in headlines or bank statements. You see it in the quiet strength you feel when challenges arise. You see it in the confidence to make decisions that once terrified you. You see it in your ability to stay calm when others panic. You see it in your discipline to follow through on what matters most, even when it feels inconvenient or uncomfortable. These small shifts are more important than any immediate result. They are proof that the foundation of your elite mindset is taking hold. Every habit you repeat, every choice you make, is like placing another brick in the structure of your future. Some bricks are easy to place. Some are heavy. Some require patience, persistence, and courage. But each one matters. And over time, those bricks build a fortress of resilience, a mansion of opportunity, and a platform for the life you have been striving toward. The outside world will notice only the results, but the real work is invisible. It happens in your mind, in your discipline, in the consistent decisions you make when no one else is watching. You may encounter setbacks. You may experience days where nothing seems to work. Even elite people face these moments. But what separates them from the rest is perspective. They view challenges as information, as feedback, as part of the journey. They understand that every problem carries a lesson. Every failure contains insight, and every uncomfortable moment is a stepping stone to growth. They do not resist adversity. They embrace it. They know it is a teacher that accelerates development and strengthens character. Elite people are relentless learners. They understand that knowledge compounds like money. Every book read, every conversation absorbed, every skill learned is an investment in their future. They do not stop at superficial understanding. They dig deep. They question, they practice. They take theories and transform them into skills. They take concepts and turn them into habits. Knowledge alone is not enough. Applied knowledge becomes transformation, and the rich mindset ensures that learning is continuous, deliberate, and purposeful. Discipline, patience, and learning together form the engine of consistent progress. This engine moves silently, almost imperceptibly at first, but eventually momentum builds. When momentum builds, progress accelerates. Small, consistent actions compound into results that feel miraculous to those who did not see the groundwork being laid. This is why elite people rarely rely on luck. Luck may provide an opportunity, but preparation allows them to seize it. Preparation is the bridge between dreams and reality. Elite thinkers also understand the power of focus. They do not scatter their energy across too many projects, distractions, or shallow pursuits. They identify what truly matters and commit to it fully. They avoid being busy for the sake of appearing productive. Instead, they pursue effectiveness, efficiency, and impact. Their days are mapped to their goals. Every action aligns with their vision. They are not distracted by what is urgent but irrelevant. They are guided by what is important but not yet urgent. This focus is one of the most powerful habits an elite person can cultivate, and it separates average results from extraordinary outcomes. Financial intelligence is another pillar of the elite mindset. Money is not something they chase desperately. They understand that money is a reflection of value created. They focus on becoming valuable first, and money follows naturally. They budget, save, invest, and leverage resources intelligently. They see opportunities to multiply their energy and resources instead of squandering them on instant gratification. They're disciplined with spending, strategic with investment, and patient with growth. They understand that true wealth is built over time, and they embrace the long game. Impulsive decisions, emotional spending, and chasing trends have no place in their plan. Emotional intelligence is equally critical. Elite people manage themselves as carefully as they manage their work. They recognize their triggers, control their reactions, and respond instead of reacting. They cultivate self-awareness, empathy, and composure. They understand that relationships are assets that must be nurtured with honesty, respect, and consistency. Conflict is handled strategically, criticism is analyzed for truth, and praise is appreciated but not depended upon. Emotional mastery allows them to navigate life with clarity and calm, even when others are overwhelmed by chaos. The elite mindset also embraces health as non-negotiable. They understand that energy, focus, and resilience cannot exist without a strong body. They move their bodies, eat intelligently, and prioritize rest. They understand that discipline with health translates to discipline in all areas of life. The body becomes an instrument, not a limitation. Small, consistent habits in exercise, nutrition, and recovery create compounding benefits over years. And this physical foundation allows the mind to operate at peak performance, fueling clarity, creativity, and decision-making. Every elite habit reinforces another. Discipline reinforces focus. Focus reinforces learning. Learning reinforces value creation. Value creation reinforces wealth. Wealth reinforces freedom. Freedom reinforces purpose. Purpose reinforces consistency. And consistency feeds back into discipline. This is the cycle of growth that the rich mindset activates. It is self-sustaining once established, yet fragile if neglected. Elite people guard it vigilantly, understanding that one careless day can slowly unravel progress, but one committed day strengthens it beyond what is visible. Elite people also embrace calculated risk. They understand that comfort and growth rarely coexist. They are willing to step into uncertainty when the potential reward aligns with their vision. But these are not reckless risks. They are informed, analyzed, and intentional. They prepare, they plan, they anticipate. They act decisively. And even when outcomes are not perfect, they adapt, learn, and continue. The willingness to take action in the face of fear is one of the defining traits of the 1% mindset. Your journey is exactly like this. Every decision, every habit, every moment of courage is building your identity. It is shaping the person who will one day look back at this time and realize they were creating everything that mattered silently, invisibly, and intentionally. No one else may notice the effort now, but your future self will reap the rewards. And that is the essence of the elite mindset. Acting today for results that may not be visible yet, but which are inevitable if consistency and discipline are maintained. Every morning you wake up is another opportunity to vote for the person you are becoming. Every choice, every action, every thought is a statement about who you want to be. Elite people understand this deeply. They know that character, habits, and mindset are inseparable from success. You cannot build wealth, influence, or freedom without first building the self who can handle it. And this self is crafted not in grand gestures, but in countless small, deliberate decisions that accumulate over time. The 1% mindset does not chase applause. It does not seek validation from others. It is grounded in internal standards and self-respect. It thrives on progress, not recognition. Most people live externally, measuring themselves by social approval, material comparisons, or fleeting trends. Elite thinkers live internally, measuring themselves by personal growth, resilience, and the integrity of their actions. This internal compass provides clarity in situations where others are confused. It allows them to move decisively while others hesitate. It keeps them focused when distractions scream for attention. And it fuels a quiet confidence that cannot be shaken by circumstance. Consistency is the most overlooked superpower. Many people want quick results, but the elite know that consistency is where transformation truly lies. It is easy to act once, easy to be inspired for a moment, easy to try for a day or a week. True power comes from showing up day after day, when it feels monotonous, when motivation fades, when the world offers excuses. That is the invisible work that produces visible results. And the rich mindset embraces this repetition not as a burden, but as a pathway to mastery. It understands that compounding is real and that every small effort contributes to monumental outcomes over time. Elite people are strategic with their time. They understand that time is the ultimate non-renewable resource. They do not waste hours on meaningless scrolling, shallow conversations, or passive entertainment. Every minute is intentionally invested in growth, skill acquisition, health, relationships, or meaningful work. They guard their mornings fiercely, knowing that how they start the day sets the tone for everything that follows. They understand that energy is finite, and they allocate it where it has the highest return. This intentionality creates a rhythm of life that feels purposeful and powerful. Your mind is your most valuable asset. Protect it, feed it, train it, and challenge it. Rich thinkers consume knowledge selectively and intentionally. They read books that expand their perspective, listen to podcasts that challenge their assumptions, and engage in conversations that stretch their thinking. They do not merely absorb information. They apply it, test it, refine it, and integrate it into their habits. Knowledge without action is vanity. Applied knowledge becomes transformation. And the elite understand that the right knowledge at the right time, paired with disciplined action, is unstoppable. Failure is not feared, it is welcomed. Elite people understand that every failure carries a lesson, and that every mistake is a step toward mastery. They analyze, adjust, and move forward. They never personalize failure. They extract wisdom from it. Most people avoid failure at all costs, but the 1% mindset embraces it strategically, knowing that growth requires experimentation and resilience. This perspective allows elite thinkers to act boldly, take calculated risks, and pursue opportunities that others avoid due to fear. The rich mindset is also patient. Instant gratification is the enemy of long-term achievement. Elite people delay pleasure when necessary. They save, invest, and work when others spend, consume, and rest. They understand that immediate comfort often comes at the cost of future freedom. They embrace the grind, the repetition, the slow compounding of effort. They take pride in the journey and trust that the outcome will follow naturally. This patience creates a psychological advantage, allowing them to stay committed while others abandon their goals in pursuit of fleeting satisfaction. Elite people do not compare themselves to others. They measure their progress against their own past performance. Comparison is distraction, and distraction is costly. Instead, they focus on mastery, improvement, and self-mastery. They celebrate their small wins, recognize incremental progress, and use setbacks as fuel. This internal focus keeps their energy aligned with their vision rather than dispersed by envy or resentment. They understand that the only competition that matters is with the person they were yesterday. The 1% mindset is proactive, not reactive. Elite thinkers do not wait for opportunities to appear, they create them. They do not wait for inspiration to strike. They act regardless of feelings. They do not wait for conditions to be perfect. They start now with what they have. Their actions generate momentum, and momentum attracts opportunities. The world responds to energy, preparation, and consistency. By moving decisively and persistently, they become magnets for the very success they are working to achieve. Health, energy, and resilience are integral. The body is the vessel through which the mind operates. Elite thinkers understand that sleep, nutrition, exercise, and recovery are non-negotiable. They respect their energy because it fuels focus, creativity, and productivity. They avoid habits that drain or distract. They prioritize routines that enhance physical and mental capacity. A strong body supports a strong mind, and a strong mind produces extraordinary results. This holistic approach ensures that they can sustain high performance over years, not just weeks. You may feel overwhelmed by the magnitude of change required, but the 1% mindset thrives on small, consistent action. You do not need to transform everything at once. Focus on one habit, one thought pattern, one action at a time. Master it, then build the next. This layering creates unstoppable momentum. Over months and years, what once seemed impossible becomes natural. What once felt distant becomes reality. Transformation is the result of consistent, deliberate, daily effort compounded over time. Every day is a new opportunity to reinforce the person you are becoming. The choices you make now will echo into your future. Every time you resist a distraction, every time you choose to study, to exercise, to act instead of hesitate, you are casting a vote for your future self. Elite people understand this instinctively. They know that every small decision, repeated over time, becomes the architecture of destiny. There are no shortcuts. There are no hacks that replace the consistent application of effort, discipline, and focus. True results are built silently, invisibly, in the daily practice of excellence. Elite thinkers embrace discomfort as a teacher. Growth always requires stepping outside your comfort zone, confronting uncertainty, and taking action when the outcome is unknown. Most people retreat from discomfort, chasing safety and immediate pleasure. The 1% mindset recognizes that discomfort is a signal of progress. Every moment of resistance you overcome strengthens your mind, builds resilience, and expands your capacity to achieve. The more you lean into challenges, the stronger and more capable you become. Life responds to courage more than it responds to hope. Time is another critical aspect of the rich mindset. Elite people are fiercely aware of its value. They do not squander it on meaningless entertainment, gossip, or passive consumption. Every hour, every minute is invested intentionally in pursuits that align with their vision. They guard their mornings, evenings, and even transitional moments carefully. They understand that energy is finite, and strategic allocation of focus is the true currency of achievement. They prioritize high-impact activities, knowing that effort spent in alignment compounds far more than effort scattered across distractions. Money, though a reflection of value, is also managed with precision. Elite people do not chase it blindly or hoard out of fear. They respect it, understand it, and deploy it strategically. They invest in themselves and others, leverage resources wisely, and recognize the compounding power of disciplined financial decisions. They know that wealth grows when guided by knowledge, patience, and calculated action. Poor financial decisions may offer immediate gratification, but create long-term limitations. The rich mindset chooses long-term freedom over short-term comfort. Decision-making is another hallmark of the elite. They act decisively, thoughtfully, and quickly when necessary. Indecision is recognized as the enemy of progress. They gather information, analyze options, and then commit fully. They accept that not every choice will yield perfection, but action creates clarity. Hesitation prolongs uncertainty and drains momentum. By learning to trust their judgment and respond with courage, they build confidence and reinforce their identity as someone capable of navigating complexity and uncertainty. Elite people also cultivate emotional mastery. They understand that emotions are signals, not directives. Fear, doubt, and frustration are natural, but do not dictate behavior. They respond with awareness, not reaction. They manage stress through mindfulness, preparation, and perspective. They understand the importance of mental clarity and emotional balance in sustaining high performance. Relationships, negotiations, and leadership all benefit when the mind is calm, focused, and resilient. Emotional intelligence amplifies every action, every decision, and every habit, reinforcing the trajectory toward success. The elite mindset is forward-looking. It does not dwell on past mistakes or external limitations. Instead, it views every experience as feedback, every obstacle as a lesson, and every setback as a temporary detour. They maintain a long-term perspective, recognizing that short-term discomfort is often the price of extraordinary outcomes. Patience, persistence, and preparation are more valuable than speed, luck, or talent. Over time, these qualities compound into achievement, reputation, and influence that cannot be replicated by luck or shortcuts. Self-awareness is another pillar of elite thinking. They reflect consistently on their actions, thoughts, and habits. They identify what serves them and what is not. They are honest about weaknesses without judgment and deliberate about improvement without ego. They track progress, adjust strategies, and refine approaches. They are continuously learning not just from successes, but more importantly from failures. Self-awareness allows them to navigate complexity, avoid common pitfalls, and optimize performance in every area of life. Elite people also embrace strategic risk. Comfort is rarely aligned with growth. They assess opportunities, calculate probabilities, and take bold action when aligned with their vision. This is not recklessness. It is informed courage. They act decisively, adapt quickly, and view failure as a teacher rather than a punishment. By consistently practicing strategic risk-taking, they expand their capacity, create unique opportunities, and differentiate themselves from those who remain constrained by fear. The mindset that seeks opportunity instead of avoidance is a defining trait of the 1%. You are now building these habits too. Every moment you resist distraction, invest in growth, and take deliberate action, you are aligning with your elite self. The small, invisible choices compound into visible transformation over time. The body grows stronger, the mind sharper, the character resilient, and the life increasingly abundant. Each step may feel small, but collectively, they are monumental. Every decision, every effort, every moment of courage is creating a version of you that is capable of extraordinary achievement. Your journey is cumulative. Every day, every habit, every choice reinforces the trajectory of your life. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is trivial. Every act of discipline, patience, and focus becomes part of the architecture of your future. Elite people understand the compounding nature of effort. They embrace the repetition, the routine, the slow accumulation of advantage. They do not need to see immediate results because they trust the process. Momentum builds, and eventually, the results become inevitable. The transformation is not sudden. It is steady, inevitable, and unstoppable. Elite people understand the subtle power of their thoughts. Every belief, every assumption, every story you tell yourself shapes your reality. Most people allow their minds to be shaped by circumstance, by fear, by social expectation. The elite take control. They consciously choose empowering beliefs. They challenge limiting thoughts. They replace self-doubt with possibility. They rehearse success mentally long before it manifests physically. This is not fantasy. It is preparation. The brain cannot distinguish between vividly imagined success and reality in terms of building neural pathways. By practicing mentally what you intend to achieve, you're physically preparing your mind and body to act decisively when opportunity arrives. Attention is another rare resource they protect fiercely. In a world filled with constant distractions, elite thinkers guard their focus. They understand that scattered attention produces scattered results. They train themselves to stay present, to prioritize what matters, and to eliminate what is not. This focus is not rigid. It is disciplined flexibility. It allows them to adapt, respond, and innovate while maintaining clarity on the long-term vision. The ability to concentrate deeply in a distracted world is one of the most undervalued skills that distinguishes the 1% from everyone else. Gratitude is often overlooked but profoundly essential. Elite people do not take progress for granted. They recognize how far they have come, they appreciate the lessons learned, and they value the opportunities ahead. Gratitude is not passive contentment. It is active acknowledgement that fuels motivation. It keeps the mind balanced and the heart centered. While ambition drives action, gratitude provides perspective. This combination of hunger and appreciation creates a mindset that is both relentless and grounded, ambitious yet peaceful, constantly reaching higher while remaining connected to reality. Every elite habit reinforces identity. Reading daily is not just acquiring knowledge. It is signaling to your subconscious that you are a lifelong learner. Exercising regularly is not just physical maintenance. It is sending the message that you respect your body and your energy. Financial discipline is not just saving or investing. It is telling yourself that you are capable of managing abundance responsibly. Small, repeated actions solidify the identity you are creating. Over time, identity becomes reality. You stop needing motivation because you're no longer acting against yourself. You're acting in alignment with who you are becoming. The elite mindset embraces iteration. Perfection is not expected immediately. Effort is applied, results are observed, adjustments are made, and the process repeats. This cycle of continuous improvement is invisible to the outside world, but produces extraordinary outcomes. Elite people understand that failure is not defeat, but feedback. Mistakes are opportunities to refine, to optimize, to get closer to mastery. Resilience grows with each iteration, and confidence builds as competence accumulates. This mindset transforms setbacks into stepping stones and challenges into accelerators. Elite thinkers also understand the importance of environment. Your surroundings, the people you engage with, the content you consume, and the habits you reinforce all influence your growth trajectory. They curate these elements carefully. They remove toxicity, distractions, and negative influences. They seek inspiration, accountability, and stimulation that aligns with their vision. By shaping the external world to support their internal standards, they create conditions where disciplined action and elite habits become easier, almost automatic. This is why the environment is often considered a silent partner in success. Discipline is another cornerstone. The elite practice delayed gratification because they understand that immediate comfort often comes at the cost of long-term freedom. They do what needs to be done, whether they feel like it or not. Motivation is unreliable. Discipline is consistent. Habits are formed not by desire, but by repeated action. They honor their commitments to themselves, even in small ways, because each commitment strengthens trust in their own character. Trust in oneself becomes the foundation for taking bold action when it matters most. Elite people also leverage their energy wisely. They know that focus, creativity, and performance are tied to physical and mental vitality. Sleep, nutrition, exercise, and recovery are non-negotiable. They optimize their days to align with their peak energy levels. High-value tasks are executed when energy is highest. They avoid unnecessary drains on their attention and energy. By managing their internal resources strategically, they sustain performance, avoid burnout, and maintain clarity for long-term objectives. Energy management is a critical habit that multiplies the effectiveness of every action they take. Vision is their compass. Elite thinkers are clear on what they want, why it matters, and how to achieve it. This clarity drives decisions, actions, and priorities. They do not wander aimlessly or chase trends. They are intentional in every step. They break large goals into actionable steps, measure progress, and adapt strategies without losing sight of the ultimate objective. The vision provides context, motivation, and direction. Without it, effort becomes scattered and progress stalls. With it, even small actions are magnified because they are aligned with a meaningful purpose. The elite mindset is patient yet persistent. It understands that meaningful growth takes time and that every day is a building block toward a future that is invisible in the present. Most people expect rapid transformation, and when results do not appear immediately, they quit. The 1% mindset knows that transformation is quiet, gradual, and compounding. You may not notice the progress on a day-to-day basis, but over months and years, the accumulation of disciplined actions produces outcomes that feel almost miraculous to those who only observe externally. This patience is not passive waiting. It is active, consistent effort combined with strategic planning and reflection. They also understand the importance of self-talk. The stories you tell yourself shape your actions far more than external circumstances. Elite thinkers consciously choose empowering narratives. They replace doubt with possibility, fear with courage, and excuses with accountability. They do not wait for motivation to appear. They cultivate it internally by controlling their thoughts, framing challenges as opportunities, and visualizing success vividly. This inner dialogue reinforces their identity, strengthens resilience, and fuels consistent action. Elite people are highly adaptive. The world is unpredictable, and circumstances often change unexpectedly. They respond with flexibility, creativity, and composure. Instead of resisting change or complaining about difficulty, they assess the situation, adjust their strategies, and keep moving forward. Adaptability is not just about survival. It is about creating advantage in uncertainty. By embracing change instead of fearing it, they gain momentum where others lose it. Every challenge becomes an opportunity to innovate, improve, and grow stronger. They also understand the power of focus over effort. Many people expend energy across countless tasks without producing meaningful results. Elite thinkers prioritize the few actions that generate the greatest impact. They concentrate their energy on high-leverage activities, the things that move the needle toward their vision. By doing less, but doing it better, they create disproportionate results. The combination of focus, discipline, and consistent execution produces outcomes far beyond the ordinary. Self-discipline is reinforced by accountability. Elite people hold themselves to high standards. They track progress, measure results, and maintain routines that keep them aligned with their goals. They do not rely solely on external pressure. They cultivate internal authority. Each commitment kept, each promise to oneself honored, strengthens confidence, builds integrity, and reinforces their identity as someone capable of extraordinary achievement. This internal accountability ensures consistency even when motivation is absent, fatigue sets in, or distractions appear. The elite also recognize the importance of health in sustaining performance. Physical and mental vitality are inseparable from long-term success. They move their bodies, nourish them wisely, and allow sufficient rest and recovery. High performance is not a short-term sprint. It is a long-term marathon. Energy, focus, and resilience are enhanced by deliberate care of the body. Neglecting health undermines all other efforts, while disciplined physical habits amplify mental and emotional capacity. The 1% understands that every area of life is interconnected, and neglect in one domain reduces effectiveness across all domains. Gratitude and reflection are key components of the elite mindset. Despite striving for more, they appreciate what they have accomplished, the lessons learned, and the opportunities available. Reflection allows them to adjust strategies, recognize patterns, and deepen understanding. Gratitude fuels motivation, prevents burnout, and maintains perspective. It ensures that ambition is balanced with contentment, that desire for growth does not become blind impatience. By combining gratitude with relentless action, they cultivate a mindset that is both ambitious and grounded, hungry yet centered. The elite embrace calculated risk because growth rarely occurs in safety. They assess opportunities carefully, act decisively, and learn from outcomes regardless of success or failure. Risk is approached strategically, not recklessly. By consistently taking informed risks, they expand their capabilities, create unique opportunities, and accelerate progress. Fear does not control them. Preparation, knowledge, and disciplined action do. Each risk taken, each challenge faced, builds confidence, competence, and resilience, further solidifying the elite mindset. Every elite habit compounds over time. Discipline leads to focus. Focus enhances learning. Learning produces value. Value generates wealth. Wealth provides freedom. Freedom enables purpose. Purpose fuels consistency. Consistency strengthens discipline. And this cycle repeats. The 1% mindset understands that excellence is not a single act, but a system of habits, behaviors, and beliefs that reinforce one another. It is a long-term investment in oneself, where every action is deliberate, intentional, and aligned with the ultimate vision. Elite thinkers also understand the invisible power of patience. They know that results often lag behind effort, that visible progress is delayed, and that real transformation occurs quietly, almost imperceptibly. Most people quit before their hard work has time to compound. The 1% mindset trusts the process, understanding that small, consistent actions accumulate into extraordinary outcomes. Every disciplined day, every focused effort, every deliberate choice builds momentum that eventually becomes unstoppable. Patience is not passive waiting. It is persistent action over time, fueled by vision and guided by clarity. They recognize that identity drives behavior. Who you believe yourself to be dictates the choices you make. Elite people focus first on becoming the type of person who can achieve the results they desire. They invest in their skills, character, and mindset. Habits are chosen not merely for immediate benefit, but to reinforce this identity. Reading, exercising, saving, planning, reflecting, taking initiative, all become expressions of the person they are becoming. Identity transformation precedes external transformation. Once the internal architecture is established, external success flows naturally. Reflection and self-awareness are essential. Elite thinkers routinely examine their actions, thoughts, and habits. They assess what is working, what is not, and what can be improved. Mistakes are treated as information, not failure. Challenges are analyzed for lessons rather than avoided out of fear. Through deliberate reflection, they refine strategies, optimize performance, and strengthen their understanding of themselves. This cycle of action, reflection, and adjustment is repeated consistently, producing mastery over time. Growth is deliberate, intentional, and guided by insight rather than chance. The elite mindset embraces continuous learning. Knowledge is not accumulated for show. It is applied. Every book read, every conversation, every experience is leveraged to increase competence, solve problems, and create value. Learning is treated as an investment with compounding returns. They study patterns, principles, and systems. They test theory through practice and refine their approach based on results. This commitment to lifelong learning ensures that they remain adaptable, capable, and ahead of the curve, even in a rapidly changing world. Discipline governs energy and attention. Elite thinkers manage both meticulously. They schedule high-value activities during peak energy periods, minimize distractions, and remove low-return activities from their daily routines. Focus is cultivated as a skill, exercised through deliberate practice, and protected fiercely. They understand that scattered effort produces scattered results. By concentrating energy where it matters most, they maximize impact. This combination of energy management and focus allows them to achieve more with less wasted effort, turning efficiency into a competitive advantage. Financial intelligence is approached strategically. Wealth is a reflection of value, not luck. Elite people invest time, money, and resources in ways that generate long-term returns. They save, invest, and leverage assets wisely. They avoid impulsive spending and prioritize growth over instant gratification. They see opportunities to multiply resources and create scalable impact. Understanding money as a tool rather than a goal allows them to focus on value creation first, knowing that wealth naturally follows. This mindset fosters security, freedom, and opportunity. Emotional intelligence is equally critical. Elite thinkers recognize the power of their emotional state on decision-making, relationships, and performance. They observe their emotions without being controlled by them. They respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. They cultivate empathy, patience, and resilience. Conflict is approached strategically, criticism is evaluated objectively, and praise is appreciated without attachment. By mastering their emotional landscape, they maintain clarity under pressure, sustain high performance, and navigate social dynamics effectively, all of which reinforce their elite habits and mindset. Consistency compounds results. Motivation fluctuates, but consistent action creates momentum. Elite people show up every day, regardless of feeling inspired. Habits are formed through repetition, and repetition produces mastery. Small, disciplined actions accumulate, producing results that feel disproportionate compared to the effort perceived externally. This invisible work lays the groundwork for visible success. While others chase fleeting motivation, elite thinkers rely on momentum, routine, and self-discipline, which are far more reliable and enduring. Vision provides purpose. Elite thinkers are clear on what they want, why it matters, and how to achieve it. This clarity drives decisions, actions, and priorities. They break large objectives into manageable steps, track progress, and adjust strategies without losing sight of the ultimate goal. Every action is aligned with their vision, ensuring that effort is efficient, intentional, and effective. Vision acts as a compass, guiding behavior, sustaining motivation, and reinforcing the 1% mindset even when immediate results are not visible. Elite thinkers embrace the idea that discomfort is a sign of growth. Most people avoid challenges because they bring unease, uncertainty, or risk. The 1% mindset sees these very challenges as opportunities. Every difficult conversation, every stretch assignment, every moment of uncertainty is a chance to grow stronger, smarter, and more capable. They approach discomfort deliberately, understanding that mastery is built on experiences that test limits. Resistance is not an obstacle. It is a tool that shapes resilience and expands potential. They understand the importance of long-term thinking. Immediate gratification tempts most people, leading to decisions that feel good now but harm the future. The elite are patient. They delay pleasure when necessary. They invest in skill, health, relationships, and wealth even when the payoff is distant. They view effort as a deposit in the bank of their future self. Compounding works not just in finance, but in habits, knowledge, and character. By acting today for long-term gain, they create a life of freedom, influence, and abundance. Elite thinkers also cultivate curiosity. They do not settle for surface-level understanding. They ask questions, dig deeper, and explore beyond the obvious. They seek principles, patterns, and frameworks that can be applied repeatedly. Curiosity drives learning, innovation, and problem-solving. It allows them to see opportunities that others overlook and to develop solutions that are both creative and effective. This mindset transforms challenges into opportunities and ordinary experiences into lessons that accelerate growth. Self-accountability is fundamental. Elite people hold themselves to high standards. They do not wait for external pressure or validation. They track progress, reflect honestly, and adjust as needed. Promises made to themselves are honored consistently, reinforcing integrity and self-trust. Accountability ensures that actions remain aligned with goals and values. It bridges the gap between intention and execution, creating reliability that compounds over time. This internal authority fosters confidence, resilience, and the ability to navigate complex situations without reliance on external approval. They value preparation over luck. Success is rarely accidental. It is the result of planning, consistent effort, and readiness to seize opportunity. Elite thinkers anticipate challenges, build systems, and create contingencies. They practice skills before they are needed and study their environment thoroughly. This preparation transforms uncertainty into advantage. When opportunity arises, they act decisively, leveraging readiness to produce results far beyond what appears possible to an unprepared observer. Elite habits are interconnected. Discipline enhances focus. Focus accelerates learning. Learning increases value. Value produces wealth. Wealth enables freedom. Freedom allows purpose. Purpose reinforces consistency. Consistency strengthens discipline. This cycle is self-sustaining once initiated. Each component feeds the next, creating a compounding effect over time. The 1% mindset is not a set of isolated actions, but a holistic system where each habit supports the next, magnifying overall impact. They manage energy strategically. Elite thinkers recognize that performance is linked to vitality. They optimize sleep, nutrition, exercise, and mental recovery. Peak energy is harnessed for high-value activities, while low-energy tasks are delegated or minimized. They understand that managing energy multiplies effectiveness and prevents burnout. This strategic approach ensures sustained output over long periods, allowing them to maintain momentum and execute consistently at a high level. Relationships are approached with intentionality. Elite people surround themselves with individuals who elevate, challenge, and inspire. They seek mentorship, collaboration, and accountability. Toxic influences and energy drains are minimized or removed. They understand that their network amplifies their impact and that strategic relationships accelerate progress. By engaging with the right people, they gain insight, support, and opportunities that compound their own efforts. Social environment, therefore, becomes a deliberate lever for growth and success. Finally, elite thinkers embrace action. Ideas, plans, and knowledge are meaningless without execution. They understand that progress requires movement. They act decisively, even when imperfectly, adjusting course as needed. Action generates feedback, which fuels learning and improvement. Momentum grows from consistent steps, and results compound over time. The 1% mindset is defined by doing more, doing better, and doing consistently. Knowledge, preparation, and planning are tools. Action is the force that transforms potential into reality. Elite thinkers also recognize the subtle influence of environment on their growth. They curate not only their physical surroundings, but also the media they consume, the conversations they engage in, and the habits they reinforce daily. Negative influences, distractions, and energy drains are removed deliberately. Positive influences, mentors, inspiring content, and productive routines are amplified. This careful curation ensures that the mind remains focused, disciplined, and aligned with long-term objectives. The environment becomes an invisible partner in success, supporting rather than undermining elite habits. They approach challenges with a problem-solving mindset. Obstacles are not excuses to quit. They are opportunities to innovate, adapt, and improve. Elite thinkers break complex challenges into manageable steps, analyze potential outcomes, and execute with precision. They treat difficulty as a teacher and uncertainty as a signal to prepare further. By approaching life strategically, they transform what seems insurmountable into achievable milestones. Resilience grows naturally as they continually face and overcome challenges. Time is managed as a precious resource. Elite people are acutely aware that it cannot be replenished. They structure their days intentionally, prioritizing high-leverage activities that move them toward their vision. Procrastination is minimized, and tasks are executed efficiently. They avoid activities that offer little return on effort, recognizing that wasted time accumulates and erodes potential. By treating time with respect, they maximize both productivity and opportunity, creating the margin necessary for reflection, creativity, and strategic action. Elite thinkers also understand the compounding nature of effort. Small, consistent actions, repeated daily, produce extraordinary results over time. Most people look for dramatic breakthroughs, but the truth is that transformation is often invisible at first. The 1% mindset embraces consistency over instant gratification, knowing that momentum builds silently, then produces results that seem sudden only to outside observers. Patience, persistence, and repetition create outcomes far beyond what is possible through sporadic effort. They embrace mental clarity. The mind is treated as the most valuable asset, and thoughts are managed deliberately. Negative self-talk is challenged and replaced with empowering beliefs. Doubt is acknowledged but not allowed to dictate action. Elite thinkers visualize outcomes, rehearse success mentally, and align their beliefs with their desired reality. This deliberate programming ensures that decisions, habits, and actions are consistent with long-term goals. Mental clarity enhances focus, resilience, and decision-making, creating a foundation for sustained achievement. Financial intelligence is approached with strategy and discipline. Elite people understand that wealth is not a result of luck, but of value creation. They allocate resources intentionally, invest wisely, and avoid impulsive decisions. They leverage opportunities to scale impact and multiply returns over time. Money becomes a tool to amplify vision rather than a goal pursued blindly. This approach creates financial freedom, security, and the ability to invest in personal growth, relationships, and opportunities that matter most. Emotional intelligence is cultivated deliberately. Elite thinkers recognize the influence of emotions on decisions, behavior, and performance. They respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Empathy, patience, and composure are developed and applied consistently. Conflict is handled strategically, criticism is evaluated objectively, and praise is appreciated without attachment. By mastering their emotional landscape, they maintain clarity under pressure, sustain performance, and strengthen relationships, all of which reinforce elite habits and mindset. Health and vitality are treated as foundational. The body is the vessel for the mind, and elite people understand the importance of maintaining energy, focus, and resilience through disciplined care. Nutrition, exercise, sleep, and recovery are prioritized. Physical discipline supports mental clarity, emotional balance, and sustained performance. Over time, this creates a self-reinforcing cycle where the body supports the mind. The mind enhances decision-making, and disciplined action amplifies results across every domain of life. Elite thinkers embrace calculated risk. Growth rarely occurs in comfort zones, and they understand that opportunity often resides on the other side of uncertainty. Risks are assessed, planned, and executed strategically. Fear is acknowledged, but not allowed to dominate. Every calculated risk builds confidence, competence, and resilience. By consistently taking informed risks, they expand capabilities, access opportunities, and accelerate progress. This courage differentiates them from those who remain constrained by hesitation and doubt. Elite thinkers recognize the compounding power of relationships. They surround themselves with people who elevate, challenge, and inspire. Mentors, peers, and collaborators are chosen deliberately, while negative influences and energy drains are minimized. Every conversation, every interaction, and every connection is treated as an opportunity to learn, grow, and create mutual value. They understand that their network amplifies their efforts and that strategic relationships accelerate progress. By cultivating meaningful connections, they gain insight, guidance, and opportunities that compound over time. They are relentless in action. Ideas alone are insufficient. Execution is essential. Elite people act decisively and consistently, even when conditions are not perfect. They understand that waiting for motivation, perfect circumstances, or certainty only delays progress. Action generates feedback, which drives improvement and builds confidence. Momentum grows as small steps accumulate, transforming potential into tangible outcomes. The 1% mindset is defined not by talent alone, but by disciplined, persistent action executed with intention. Elite thinkers also master the art of focus. In a world filled with distractions, they train themselves to concentrate on high-value activities. They identify the few tasks that produce the greatest impact and commit to them fully. Multitasking is avoided because scattered attention diminishes effectiveness. Deep focus is cultivated, protected, and applied strategically. This ability to concentrate allows them to produce extraordinary results in less time and with greater precision, giving them a competitive edge that most overlook. They embrace continuous learning and adaptation. Knowledge is not consumed passively. It is applied, tested, and refined. Elite thinkers study patterns, systems, and principles that can be leveraged repeatedly. They iterate on strategies, absorb feedback, and adapt to changing circumstances. This commitment to lifelong learning ensures they remain ahead, capable, and resilient, even in rapidly evolving environments. Learning is treated as an investment with compounding returns, enhancing skills, insight, and decision-making over time. Discipline governs their daily routines. Habits are chosen deliberately to reinforce identity, purpose, and goals. Repetition builds mastery, and mastery builds confidence. Motivation fluctuates, but disciplined action is consistent. Each commitment kept, each task completed, reinforces self-trust and strengthens character. The 1% mindset relies on internal authority rather than external pressure, creating a foundation of reliability, integrity, and sustained performance that becomes self-reinforcing over time. Elite thinkers cultivate a mindset of curiosity and exploration. They never settle for superficial understanding or complacency. Every experience, conversation, and challenge is viewed as an opportunity to learn. They ask questions, dig deeper, and seek patterns that can be applied broadly. Curiosity fuels innovation, sharpens judgment, and allows them to see opportunities that others overlook. By remaining mentally agile and open to new ideas, they expand their capacity for problem-solving and create pathways to success that remain invisible to those constrained by fixed thinking. They embrace accountability in all areas of life. Elite people do not blame circumstances, other people, or luck for outcomes. They accept responsibility for their actions, decisions, and results. Self-accountability strengthens integrity, builds trust in oneself, and ensures consistent alignment with long-term goals. By holding themselves to high standards and monitoring progress meticulously, they bridge the gap between intention and execution. Accountability transforms good intentions into consistent achievement and reinforces the self-discipline required for sustained success. The elite understand that identity precedes achievement. Who you are internally dictates what you accomplish externally. Every habit, thought, and action is an expression of the person you are becoming. Reading, exercising, planning, reflecting, and executing are not just activities. They are declarations of identity. By consistently acting in alignment with their desired self, elite thinkers internalize excellence, turning habits into second nature and building a resilient foundation for long-term success. Identity transformation is the engine that drives sustainable results. They are masters of focus and priority. Elite people identify the small number of activities that produce the greatest results and dedicate their attention to them. They avoid distractions, delegate or eliminate low-value tasks, and concentrate on high-leverage opportunities. Multitasking is shunned because divided attention reduces effectiveness. Deep focus is cultivated as a skill, and the ability to sustain it becomes a defining factor in their performance. By concentrating on what matters most, they produce extraordinary results in a world where most are scattered and overwhelmed. Mental clarity and emotional intelligence are essential. Elite thinkers manage thoughts, emotions, and reactions deliberately. They observe internal patterns, reframe limiting beliefs, and respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. They regulate emotions under pressure, maintain composure in challenges, and navigate interpersonal dynamics effectively. Empathy, patience, and strategic communication amplify their influence. By mastering their inner world, they maintain focus, sustain high performance, and create strong relationships that support their vision. They understand the power of momentum. Small, consistent actions create compounding results over time. Elite thinkers show up every day, regardless of motivation or immediate results. Habits build, momentum accumulates, and outcomes eventually surpass what seems possible. They embrace repetition as a tool for mastery, knowing that sustained effort is far more powerful than sporadic bursts of energy. Consistency transforms potential into reality, turning invisible work into visible achievement. Strategic risk-taking is embraced deliberately. Comfort zones rarely produce growth. Elite thinkers evaluate opportunities carefully, consider potential outcomes, and take calculated risks aligned with their vision. Fear is acknowledged, but not allowed to dominate decisions. By stepping into uncertainty with preparation and clarity, they expand capabilities, access unique opportunities, and accelerate progress. Every risk taken, thoughtfully and deliberately, strengthens resilience, confidence, and competence, reinforcing the 1% mindset. Vision acts as a compass. Elite people are clear on what they want, why it matters, and how to achieve it. This clarity directs decisions, prioritizes actions, and sustains motivation. Large objectives are broken into actionable steps. Progress is measured, and strategies are refined without losing sight of the ultimate goal. Vision ensures alignment of effort and amplifies impact. Even small actions gain meaning because they're connected to a larger purpose, creating a coherent trajectory toward extraordinary achievement. As we draw this journey to a close, it's important to remember that the 1% mindset is not about luck, shortcuts, or talent alone. It is about deliberate choices, consistent action, and relentless pursuit of growth. Every habit you cultivate, every moment of focus, every ounce of energy you invest, and every challenge you face builds the foundation of the life you desire. Success is not accidental. It is the natural outcome of disciplined thoughts, behaviors, and actions aligned with purpose. Strategic risk-taking is embraced deliberately. Comfort zones rarely produce growth. Elite thinkers evaluate opportunities carefully, consider potential outcomes, and take calculated risks aligned with their vision. Fear is acknowledged but not allowed to dominate decisions. By stepping into uncertainty with preparation and clarity, they expand capabilities, access unique opportunities, and accelerate progress. Every risk taken, thoughtfully and deliberately, strengthens resilience, confidence, and competence, reinforcing the 1% mindset. Vision acts as a compass. Elite people are clear on what they want, why it matters, and how to achieve it. This clarity directs decisions, prioritizes actions, and sustains motivation. Large objectives are broken into actionable steps. Progress is measured, and strategies are refined without losing sight of the ultimate goal. Vision ensures alignment of effort and amplifies impact. Even small actions gain meaning because they're connected to a larger purpose, creating a coherent trajectory toward extraordinary achievement. As we draw this journey to a close, it's important to remember that the 1% mindset is not about luck, shortcuts, or talent alone. It is about deliberate choices, consistent action, and relentless pursuit of growth. Every habit you cultivate, every moment of focus, every ounce of energy you invest, and every challenge you face builds the foundation of the life you desire. Success is not accidental. It is the natural outcome of disciplined thoughts, behaviors, and actions aligned with purpose. You have the power to shape your identity, to sculpt your habits, and to direct your energy. The elite mindset is available to anyone willing to commit, to show up daily, and to act with intention. It asks for patience, courage, and consistency, but the rewards are profound. Freedom, resilience, mastery, and the ability to create impact beyond what most imagine possible. Every decision you make today is a vote for the person you will become tomorrow. As you step forward, carry this understanding with you. Growth is a process, not an event. Progress may be slow, invisible, or incremental, but it compounds relentlessly. Embrace challenges, learn from setbacks, and persist when others quit. Prioritize your time, energy, and relationships carefully, and protect your mind and body as the most valuable assets you own. Each day is an opportunity to reinforce the elite habits that define success, and over time, these choices create a life of abundance, freedom, and purpose. This audiobook has guided you through the principles, strategies, and mindset that distinguish the 1%. But knowledge alone is not enough. Action is essential. Commit to the habits, embrace the challenges, and remain patient yet persistent. Trust the process. Momentum will build. Clarity will sharpen. Mastery will emerge. And in the end, the person you become will reflect every choice, every effort, and every moment of disciplined action along the way. Your journey toward elite habits and a rich mindset does not end here. It begins now, in this very moment, with the decisions you make today. Step forward with courage, consistency, and conviction. Every small act compounds into extraordinary results. The life you desire is waiting, and it will unfold as you choose to show up, persist, and grow. Remember, the 1% mindset is not reserved for the few. It is earned by those who commit to becoming the best version of themselves, day by day, habit by habit, decision by decision. Carry these lessons with you, apply them, and watch as your life transforms into the extraordinary reality you have imagined. Your future self will thank you for every deliberate step you take today. This is your invitation to live intentionally, act boldly, and think like the 1%. Your journey to elite habits, resilience, and abundance begins here. And as you continue, know that every choice, no matter how small, is shaping the unstoppable person you are becoming. The life you desire is not a dream. It is the inevitable result of the mindset, habits, and actions you choose to embrace. Start now, persist relentlessly, and become the person no one can stop.